we click the record button and say, yo, what up? How's it going, man?
Just being super indecisive going into season 2. How about you?
It's good. It's good. Set 5 brings way too many cool cards to play. So hit me with the pitch. What's going on with Fat Gum, huh?
Honestly, just like the character Fat Gum, wanted to promise myself I'd play him at some point in season 2.
Yeah.
Through testing, I found out he's not my favorite character, or not my least favorite character.
Okay.
When I thought he was kind of uninspired when he first got shown off.
Sure.
But he's felt the most at home when I test.
Interesting. What do you mean at home?
Coming out of topping 2 events with Deku 3, it feels the most similar and the most familiar to that kind of playstyle.
Okay.
Versus other things I'm testing, I have trouble defending and blocking because it's a very different game plan otherwise.
Yeah. So what do you need my help with? We still there?
Yeah, that's just a good question.
Oh, fair.
I guess telling me I'm going completely in the wrong direction trying certain things out. Like, certain cards not as good as I think it is, because I haven't done a ton of testing with this.
So this list is interesting, right? Because we have things like Hardened Frenzy in here, which I think is neat, right? If full blocked, you build it down, which like makes Fat Gum feel good. Like this is like Hardened Jab, Hardened Frenzy are like good tactics. I'm interested in how you feel about Rejuvenating Smash in this deck.
Rejuvenating Smash is a great second attack. You draw 2, gain 2, and then you just build out.
Yeah.
It's great to find right after a back alley. You normally have like a 9 card hand size going into their turn.
That's fair.
But then it gets even better when you get to Fat Gum 2, especially since you have that twice per turn discard a card.
Yeah.
You can discard a card, then snap a momentum, and then hopefully BMI Buster later down the line.
That's fair, because I forgot you get to discard a card off of BMI or off of Fat Gum too, which is chill, right? I'm just nervous as Fat Gum 1, like what value we get out of it. I guess it's just like it's draw 2. I'm just so nervous of checking a 3 on it, right? As your 5 hand size character who didn't build a ton, you know.
It's also just one of the best blocks in the game, especially if you can block with it second.
That's fair.
It's defensively a reprint of Templar.
Sure. But you don't think something like a Valiant Assault, even though it combos off a punch and we're playing a singular non-punch, like does this job better?
I'd say no, probably not, because Valiant Assault is still going to be small when you get it into the Fat Gum 2 territory, whereas Rejuvenating Smash, even if you're not playing it second, it's still something that you can find a ton of value in, especially having EX3 if you don't have any BMI busters to put the momentum into.
That's fair. Still doing some looking. Give me 1 second. See if there's anything glaring that we just like. What is that? What is this not doing in here?
Somebody in chat seems to think so. Somebody said no small and limber.
It's literally on the card that I just added to your sideboard. That's funny. What does he say? Just says your attack? That's interesting.
Yeah.
I was looking at like
which is why I feel better about Frenzy.
Oh, yeah. I think Frenzy's really, really cool, right? Frenzy's a 4-5 for 5 and Fat Gum 1 that builds you a card down if they full block it. So like you just like get to be Fat Gum 2 a little quicker. I love that. That's cool, and it's better than what like Missouri Smash that got going for it, which is neat. Still doing a big old look. You think because of Nice Try, there's no room for specialists anymore?
I wouldn't say there's no room for it because of Nice Try. I have other decks where I'm running 4 Nice Try and 3 Specialist, but I felt like he needed more offensive leaning stuff. Once you get to Fat Gum 2, you kind of need to make sure they're dead by the end of that turn.
Sure. All right. Here's what I got. If Hardened Frenzy doesn't work out, I'm such a calorie counter simp, dude. I think this card is so sick. It's so sick, just like all the time. It's a big meaty move. It's got a solid low block. It doesn't build any quicker than normal. And like it can feel bad if they don't block, but if they don't block, then like you did your job, right? It just like gets quick, it gains you health, and it selectively flips their things. I think this card is so cool. That's the only attack that I could maybe interest you in. But I think that
I had some negative testing with it. I did try it
okay.
out early on, and it just feels really bad when it's the only attack in my hand, or I am trying to chip them down a little bit, and they don't block the first one.
Sure.
Like, it hasn't pulled its weight in the testing that I've had with it.
That's fair. It's fair. If you tested it and you haven't liked it, that's totally chill. I think Surprise Interception being in your sideboard is really good. I think that Manifest decks are going to be all over the place. I think that like Stopping Jolt is good. Like I think keep this card on your radar as you go into events. I think Manifest is going to be like a very cool combo deck. So like stopping people from doing cheeky Manifest things is good.
Totally agree. I just don't know where the space is for it right now.
Yeah. Keeping Ares safe is just a 0 diff that you're not running. I don't know if you necessarily need it because you start as a 5-hander, so like building a billion is like not a thing that necessarily has to happen. It probably takes out like the precious lesson.
Just choosing to play You're Finished over it.
Sure. Not playing Eerie I think is crazy. I think this card is so cracked in every deck. I am going to recommend one Eerie in every single deck for the rest of time. This card is so good in our game. This says Indiscriminate Shock doesn't kill me from 14. Right? They have to play one more.
I don't mind it. I just kind of forgot about it in this list.
And it also says that as your 5-hander, you get to play Passing the Torch offensively and then just re-ready it back up and then play it defensively as well, right? It says that it's okay that I committed this one thing because I get to re-ready it back.
It's a 5th copy of Nice Try is what you're saying.
Yeah. But for anything, right?
Yeah.
Raiding the Villain Hideout. This card triggers Rejuvenating Smash, and when you're Fat Gum 2 and you've got 9 cards in hand plus whatever draw you've happened to get, it says that everything hits a little bit harder, right? I don't think this card is necessarily needed for like Fat Gum 1, but I wouldn't hate like a 1-of copy in Fat Gum 2, right? And even maybe in Fat Gum 1, I'm at my 9 foundations, and I feel like I actually have to get there, and I've got back alley, like Rewind Throttle gets to redraw off of it. It's a 5 high for 5, and just like it's like all of your attacks get the thing, and then defensively, it's +1 of all my checks, which like feels good. And then last is a small number. I don't think you need this card. This card feels good with Fat Gum 2 to like. Oh, I've got 11 foundations. Actually, I have 13 foundations. And like when we look at Charge Fury kicks, right? We have 1, 2, 3. No. Yes. So like we lose BMI Buster, we lose Hardened Jab for the stats early, like as Fat Gum 1. And as Fat Gum 2, like we want it just there to just like re-ready stuff. But I don't know what to cut for it. It might be like Destined, right? It just depends on how much draw power you think you need.
I think it would be Precious Lesson, if anything.
Oh, sure, because they're doing very similar jobs. But Precious Lesson is playable as Fat Gum 1 on like defense. I destroy a thing for self-sack and then build a couple in, and then like their attacks, I get to lift them with jab. I prefer a Precious Lesson over Small and Limber, but that's just me. Of these cards that I've added in, besides Eerie, was there anything that was... Oh, I also had the big three. I think as Fat Gum 2, I think finding 3 attacks is really easy. And this deadlock is surprisingly nuts. Like like this deadlock is as good as Pull No Punches deadlock as a 1-def. As long as you're like willing to sit there and be like, this is my deadlock threat. Just change zone on my move, +1 speed. I'm Mirio now. All of my moves are low. Every single one of them. In my good symbol deck, that's incredible. That's so good.
It was in every previous version of the deck, but I just cut it out for this rebuild because it wasn't feeling great when I played it.
Fair. Super fair.
It's kind of hard to get to 3 attacks, especially when I'm relying on things like Hardened Frenzy and Pull No Punches, even during my Fat Gum 2 turns. And Capture Evildoers as well.
Yeah. That's
if I'm getting the 3 attacks in my card pool, that might be a bad sign for me not killing you.
I was having a hard time doing the same kind of thing with echo attacks, so I fully get it, right? I'd play a move, I'd echo it, and go, wait, now I have to have a 4th move? Oh no, what happened? So I get it. So I guess like the 2 biggest recommendations I have is like Eerie and raiding the villain hideout. I think raiding is going to be good.
Do you think a 1 of raiding is better than 1 of fat absorption?
I personally think so, but I think this card for having so many words on it is not very good. I don't think
it's very good either. I was going to be testing it.
Yeah, I think committing for -1 or -2, commit 1 foundation for -2 damage whenever they do a bonus is like not great. If it didn't literally,
it's not even that.
Didn't say once per attack.
It's not even that. It's if they do a bonus that is at least 2, it's -2.
Yeah. I would just swap out the fat absorption for the rating. This is a 4 check. This is a 5 check. As we look at our stats, I guess like our block zones are all even, right? Yeah, I would just swap these ones out. I'd get rid of you, put you in, and then I don't think going to 65 is going to kill you. And just toss in the Eerie and see how you like her. I think this card is just so good, man. This card's a Panic Mirio button, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've played her in other decks, but I've also just never put her out onto my stage.
Sure.
So I don't know how to feel about her yet.
I think that she is so incredibly worth it because, like, she's good to help you reblock. She's good to help you, like, hit harder with passing the torch, and all it takes is having 1 momentum, which your deck can steal, like whenever it feels good enough.
There's a couple sources of snap momentum.
Yeah, and so like, man, and maybe it feels a little scary with like you wanting to spend momentum on the busters, but like, I think that this is a hey, give me 1 more is really good. Because it says that it forces them to string me a little harder as opposed to going all in, right? Like, yeah.
It's
Eerie.
more of I just haven't played enough test matches for a 1 of asset to even show up in my hand to play.
Sure. It's also really good sideboard bait, right? Of like, hey, this doesn't have to be in my main board. We'll take it out and put in the You're So Obvious instead, right? Yeah. Like doing the same kind of job, but this is like. This is way harder to cancel this, and this, like, I have to play around. This is Eerie. This is the last thing that happens. Yeah. Besides that, though, man, I think the main board foundation-wise is all really good. I am a fan of what you have going on here, and I like the Hardened Frenzy. I think the Reround Throttle is really interesting. Because it's just like another copy of Fat Gum 2, right? Of like discard that card and then selectively commit the thing. I'm excited. How much have you tested this card?
Probably about 7 or 8 matches,
Okay, and it's feeling good.
except for the Amajiki matchup. It's felt fine, good
Sure.
even.
Okay, cool.
Being
Cool,
able
cool,
to
cool.
discard 2 on your first attack to target commit 2 things is often very important.
Yeah, that is fair. Yeah, and Amajiki is because like it's just printed damage is just so low.
Every time I played it against Amajiki, it got completely negated by his once per turn.
Yeah, and that might just be like the one matchup, right?
I don't think it's even the right choice in that matchup, but it's what happened.
Fair. All right. I think this is at least somewhere to go. I mean, you come with me with such like cultivated lists that it's tough to move things, right?
Yeah.
How would you feel about instead of manly passionate guy, something like a male bonding? Would that do you prefer the manly passionate over it or?
It was male bonding before this version of the list.
Okay. So at least we're trying it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, then,
Male
man.
bonding has definitely let me get up to deadlock for turn 3 Fat Gum 2 to kill somebody,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know how relevant that is when you're looking at trying to play top cuts.
Sure. That is super fair. All right, man. We'll stay on the line long enough for me to shoot the list, and you have a growth on that, okay? This is a solid list.
Thank you, Tam.
Welcome.